I am going to do a follow-up on the previous video I did on adding a jug of salt water to a livestock water font or basin to keep it from freezing. And here's my follow-up. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I found something on YouTube from some farmers who are dealing with frozen water troughs, livestock water troughs, and they came up with a solution of filling a milk jug or some kind of a container half full of water and then adding about a half cup of salt, kosher salt, to that solution. Salt water does not freeze, so they claim that it would keep the water in the trough from freezing. In my previous video, I did a 2-day trial on four different troughs. These 2 troughs and 2 other troughs. Now I placed them in the 2 other troughs. They both froze, and I checked the temperatures on them. And then I left these 2 troughs without. So I'm going to repeat the experiment right here on my back patio, get it closer. And I've got these 2 remote thermometer sensors that sends a signal to my desk. And I can see how the temperature is going outside here throughout the night. And then we can see that, yes, it's getting cold enough. It's freezing. We'll check them in the morning. So let's get these placed. I'll place one right here, and I'll place one right here, and that way I can get an accurate temperature of this. Now these troughs each have 10 gallons of water in them, so I filled them up with warm water to start with, because that's what I do in my troughs. Is I take out hot water, jugs of hot water, and this is my setup that I've been using the last couple of days, is these gallon milk jugs, fill them with hot water and transport them on my wagon in these milk crates. So it makes the job a little bit easier in transporting things back and forth to the livestock. But I really want this experiment to work. I've seen it on a couple of YouTube channels. I'm not sure exactly where these folks are located, but we've been getting down to 12 degrees is the coolest I've seen. No, actually, yesterday, yes, morning, I saw it as low as 8 degrees. When I first got up about 3:30 in the morning, it was 8 degrees Fahrenheit. We're talking Fahrenheit. So these little thermometer sensors are gonna ground level. That's where these basins are. It's gonna give me a little bit more accurate information on what the temperature is outside. Now I brought these in and I scrubbed them out, cleaned them out really good, and I'm doing a double experiment. This is for my own use, but I'm doing a double experiment because when my troughs set out, they start getting algae built up in them, a long thing. And so I'm having to wash them out frequently. Since these 2 weren't used for quite a while, it had quite the buildup on it. So I wanted to get them cleaned out, and I'll trade these out with the current ones that the livestock are using with some fresh, clean ones. But we're gonna do this experiment. I put a jug half filled with water with a half cup of kosher salt. I don't know if the kosher salt or the iodized salt makes a difference. Some scientists might know the difference, but I'm using kosher salt in case the jug leaches into the water. There's not that much salt to leach in, because the animals need salt anyway in their diet, and I have salt blocks out for them to freely take. So if it leaches out, it's not much. Now, the other experiment I'm using is I put a cup of apple cider vinegar in one I put it in this closest one with the milk jug in it. Now, the apple cider vinegar adds to gut health for the animal. It really encourages health in their gut, from what I understand. And then also, it prevents algae from growing in the water. So it was just only, it was a half a cup is what I added to 10 gallons. That's the ratio I put in, half a cup to 10 gallons. So we're going to leave them out here. Tomorrow I'll come back out, we'll check them, we'll see if this works, because in my previous video I asked my viewers and I demonstrated, you know, I was being honest. It failed for me. I don't know if it was the temperature. I don't, because they didn't have as cold of temperatures as I'm getting. And maybe this just doesn't work in a certain parameter of temperatures. But it does in other temperatures. It keeps the water from freezing. That'd be great if we could figure out a solution that is a cheap off-grid solution to keep the buckets from freezing, because I don't have electricity to be able to run up there in the winter months. I'm just not comfortable with that. So this is part one of repeating this experiment, because some of my viewers said I didn't have enough water in the trough to cause the jugs to be buoyant, and I was like, maybe they're right. So I topped off the jug is floating, and I've got two different troughs here. We got one as the litmus test, and we've got the other one as the experiment. So we're going to try this out. I'll be right back in the morning and we'll finish this up, and I'll let you guys know what I found out. But further down the road, I'm leaving these troughs out here for a while, because I want to see if algae grows in the bucket that I did not put the apple cider vinegar in. I wonder if I just should put them up and feed them to the goats, and put a little bit of vinegar each day when I give them a gallon, a couple of gallons of warm water. That way it keeps one font full with vinegar and the other one without. Because naturally, with the sun and the environment out where the livestock is, the algae would grow or not grow. I'll do it that way. I just processing it in my head and how I should do it properly. I think I'll do it that way. We'll be back in the morning. Well, good morning. This is day 2 of my experiment, two-part experiment. I had to leave these water troughs out overnight. The temperature got down as low as I could see it, at least right where the buckets are, because I have my little thermometer sensors there. So let's look at the buckets. Both of them are frozen. Both of them. So I've got an alabaster ball here that shows you it is frozen. Yep, and this one over here, yep, it is frozen. Now I'm bummed because I really wanted to make this work. So the gal I saw on YouTube, and there's another YouTuber that demonstrated the same thing, was fill a jug, a water jug, any kind of plastic jug, half full of water, and then put some salt in it. And the jug, the solution inside the jug is not frozen. Like I said, salt water doesn't freeze. But it did not stop the water from freezing. I got to dump these out, and I've got my wagon full of hot water to take up and give the critters their water this morning. So, like I said in the first video on this subject, this is testing a saltwater jug to keep livestock water from freezing. For me, this was a fail. So I'm resorting back to just hauling gallons of hot water up to the livestock. I'm Jerry Hansen, your host. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, trying something to make life a little bit easier on the frozen Pacific Northwest up here in the Cascade Ranges. Stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon. That alerts you to new videos as I upload them. Give us a thumbs up, click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social medias helps us out. Remember, be safe, always be kind. I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye-bye now. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Spike's horn. What's it made out of? We'll be right back, and Hayden will explain it all. Hello, welcome back to Southern Oregon Safaris where the buffalo roam.